3 years ago, I was a young artist at Glimmer Glass Opera, and I had the opportunity to cover Figaro. So I learned it and got to work with a great director, David Angus. And then last year, I was an apprentice at Santa Fe Opera, and I sang Angelotti and covered Manchuca and Arabella. And they wanted to hear me for Figaro. And so I gave an audition for Charles and Brad, and next thing I know, I got the call that I was going to be singing Figaro at Santa Fe Opera. It's a thrill just to even get that news. This will be my first Figaro, and I couldn't be more thrilled about it. I've been looking forward to this opportunity ever since I started singing. It was the first art I ever learned was Non più andrai. I'm finishing up my final year at the Academy of Vocal Arts, and this place has been a wonderful, wonderful place for me to grow. And I can't wait to bring the things that I've learned here and at Catholic, where I went to undergrad, to Santa Fe. While I've been at AVA, I've sung with other companies during the year. I sang Germont with Lyric Opera Virginia. I went and made my Carnegie Hall debut last year with Opera Orchestra New York in Adrien Lecouvreur, and I got to perform with Jonas Kaufmann and Gorgiou, and that was a thrill. That was so much fun. I had no business being there, but absolute joy. And they allow for those kind of opportunities. People here have sung at Scala while they were still students, sung at the Metropolitan Opera. It's a unique place. The thing is, Figaro has been with the Count before this opera, before this Beaumarchais play in the Barber of Seville, and he knows one side of the Count very well, and he's been with the Count for a very long time. The droit de seigneur is a feudal right back in the 15th century, where the head of the house, like the Count, say, when a woman gets married in his service, in his court, he is allowed to have a night with the woman after she's married. And so in the Nozze di Figaro, the Count, before the opera even starts, had apparently abolished that right when he married the Countess, when he married Rosina. So he all of a sudden has a fancy for Susanna, and he has instilled the right again, just conveniently. Figaro is a very smart, cunning, clever person. So this isn't so much of a shock to him as okay, I need to figure out how we can handle this and not have a droit de seigneur. And he decides to get back at the Count. And his whole plan is to marry Susanna still, but pretty much expose the Count to the Countess and see what happens. And so the whole play, it's all one day. So this whole day is him trying to get married and also set up the Count and show who he really is. And it takes so many twists and turns, but it's so much fun. So much fun. Things happen, like in everyday life, that you don't expect. And so Figaro tries to be quick on his feet the entire time. Sometimes, like in the Act 2 finale, he wasn't expecting Antonio to drunkenly come in and scream about some boy jumping out of a window. That never occurred to Figaro. So he has to think on his feet, and he takes the blame for it. He says, no, that was me. You're drunk. You have no idea what's going on. And he tries to be very cool about things. We all know maybe someone like Figaro in our lives. Whether you like that person or not, that's your own preference. I think Figaro is very charming. And when the moments where you can see his wit and you can see how clever he is, he can sometimes be like a little eel. Like you try to grab him and he just slips right out of your hands. It's very entertaining, and I think he's great. I think he's just the bee's knees. There are many surprises, many surprises, and you can thank Beaumarchais and De Ponte for that. My experience at Santa Fe last summer was something that I'll never forget. I think the people out there are just so wonderful, and you can say that, everyone says that about almost every place, but I truly mean it about Santa Fe. I've never experienced a company or a place that was so giving. And the Santa Fe Opera is one of the most finely tuned, well-oiled machines that you can be a part of. And it's kind of exciting to be around a company like that, like a company that knows what's happening. For me, being an apprentice out there was great. I got to be on the stage every night, and it made being on that stage easy. So when I did Angelotti, I wasn't nervous when I got out there. It felt almost like another home. And I guess that happens after doing chorus in 5 operas. But I had a blast, and I have Brad and Charles and David Holloway to thank for that. Without them, I wouldn't be talking right now on camera. When I left Santa Fe, I felt like I was singing the best I'd ever sung in my life. And I think it has to do with just working every day, but also the actual place of Santa Fe. You're up high in the mountains. It's like extreme training. I called it extreme singing while I was out there. You're up in high altitude, it's very dry, and I got used to that. And I came back down to sea level at the end of the summer, and I could open any score and just sing it. And I never really had that kind of experience before. And so I'm looking forward to going back out there and doing some more extreme singing training. And who knows, maybe I'll be a tenor by the end of the year. By the end of the summer, I was relaxed. I felt great. And singing outside was just fantastic. I had a blast singing in that theater, especially when I would come on stage as Angelotti and the wind would be blowing across the stage and my wig hair was just kind of like going, and I was like, wow, this feels great. This feels so real. Oh, wait, it is real. This isn't a wind machine. This is actually nature doing its job. Figaro in the Beaumarchais, in this opera, is still pretty young. I mean, he's actually around my age. One of my idols is Bryn Terfel, and I know he did this role at my age as well, and he brought a youthful, clever wit to it. And I look forward to bringing that to the role.